Good morning. So I am back inside after milking and I'm getting this washed up. And while I was doing that, I was thinking, you know what? I think today would be a perfect day to do a July garden tour because it is beautiful outside. We're having some really strange but really nice weather. So I looked at the forecast and the next 2 weeks, it's not getting up to 90 degrees. It's like in the high 80s. I'm not sure what that's going to do for the tomatoes and the garden and everything, but I'm really enjoying it. Yesterday was so nice and it was breezy, just beautiful. So I'm hoping today is the same. It seems to be so far because I've got a few errands to run in town after I show you all the garden, and then I'm coming back and going to enjoy the sunshine and just probably sit out there in my nice chair and read some. So let me finish this up and we will head out to the garden. Sun is beautiful, but it is bright. All right, it's time to get the boots on because it is wet out here. It's also a jungle in the garden. It's like, I don't even know. But first, let me show you the crazy herb bed. Here though, because I don't think I showed you this last time. So I've got lemon balm. I've had this for years actually. I did put some, this used to be sage. Used to be a really big plant. Had it for a few years, died off. I'm not really sure what happened to it. It just got old. They now have some lemongrass there, which might not have been the best choice because that I think is about, I don't know, is that as tall as that's going to get? I should look that up because my bee balm is really tall, which should have been in the corner, but it's okay. So this is bee balm. I actually cut this completely down and then it grows back up. It really is, all the flowers when they come on, it's gorgeous. It's of course already bloomed, so it's not as pretty right now. Everything's kind of blooming. The oregano. I just planted these 3 here yesterday when the grandbabies were here because I got these for 50 cents each at Rural King. They are annuals. I'm not really sure. I can't even remember what they are. I do have the pots, so I will need to look that up and kind of remember, or maybe put it in my phone or something. But I can't pass up plants. They just call to me when they're on clearance. This is actually some lavender that doesn't look super great, but it's still alive, so that's a plus. And I have some more lemongrass because the one I got was actually 3 plants in one, so I have another one over here in the other bed as well. This is a cold frame that we never have finished. This is like a lily plus some grass that needs to be pulled out of there. This is, of course, my echinacea, which I cut way back, and it has came out beautiful this year. I haven't harvested anything. I really just like looking at the flowers. I really should harvest something. But I've got to figure out how to do that with the root because I don't want to completely destroy it. So I'm thinking you can probably split those off. So I need to check into that. I've just got some miscellaneous things back here. Of course, some weeds, some flowers that I don't remember the name of that I was given. And I've got some flowers I don't remember the name of. And then I've got some hyssop back here, which is really weird because it's not doing as well right here as what it does everywhere else. Weeds, of course, everywhere else. So this is my passion flower that has a little fruit on it, and it's vining out and it's getting some more flowers still in the pot that I got a month ago. So I really, really need to get this planted somewhere, but I don't know where to put it. So I've got to figure out where I want to put it at in the garden. This is actually a maple tree that I pulled out of like right over here. It's been there for years. It had kind of a fairly good sized root on it. And so I've stuck it in here to try to keep it alive if we want to put it somewhere because it's a pretty good sized tree. And then this one I'm excited to see. I don't remember if I showed you this in one of the other garden tours, but this is what this should look like. And it was clearanced. So it looked like twigs. It barely had any leaves on it. I've kind of keeping it over here. I switched this water out and I'll put it down in there and then, put it back up here when it soaks it up. But it has really came out and it looks like it's going to bloom. Now this gets 6 to 8 feet wide and 8 to 10 feet tall. So it's going to be good as an accent plant, but I'm not really sure where to put it. So I've got to really figure that one out. If we go back here, this is like what I wanted. This is Crazy Herb area. So this is the self-heal that I actually pulled out of the yard. And it's a weed that grows, you know. So this is self-heal, which I've got to do some more studying on and share with you all. Of course, I've got some Spilanthes. They are everywhere because these little things, of course, are the seed pods after the flower comes out, and see what it's doing right here. So I'm going to have Spilanthes probably everywhere out here. But I broadcast all the seed in here, and they came up beautiful this year. I have yet to harvest some because I do have some tincture. I do have some harvested, so we'll see. Of course, this was some cilantro, but now I have coriander seed. So I have that I'll just put right back in here, and it can come up next year. I have some catnip. We've got some Spilanthes. You'll see Spilanthes just about everywhere. At least, yeah, everywhere. I was going to say half the garden bed, but no, it's everywhere. And some hyssop that came up with this hyssop. So this hyssop looks a lot better. I'm not sure what this actually is. It says it is a some kind of lemon balm variety, but I don't think so. I need to look at my seed packets because what I did was put a bunch of seeds in another spot. Once they came up, I dug these up because they weren't doing so well and moved them. So I really need to figure out what that one is. This is a peppermint down here that I got recently. I've got some borage, some chives. Pretty sure this might be, well, I'm not really sure if that's lemon balm, or it kind of looks like lemon balm because there's some of it back here. We got some thyme in here. I think I've got like, I don't even know. I don't know if there's chocolate thyme, chocolate mint, I think. This is some borage that's finally blooming. Spilanthes kind of in and out everywhere. This is Tulsi, holy basil, which I'm super excited about. I do need to pay attention though and get the seeds so I can reseed it right there, and hopefully it will come up again next year. I had to buy another plant because I don't think I waited until the seeds actually formed seeds to take care of that. So this is lamb's ear. This is the first time it has actually bloomed, and I was so excited to see these beautiful flowers. They are so cool. So I'm not really sure. Got to do some research on this one, but they're just gorgeous. They were gorgeous, I guess I should say. So see if I can reseed that right here because these are so cool. So I do have some sage back here. So that's some sage like on the other side over there as well. This is feverfew that I actually grew from seed. It came up last year a little bit. This year it has really done well, so I'm hoping it does well next year. It did not flower last year. These are so adorable, so adorable. This is Nature's ibuprofen. So this is something very special to me because I can't actually take ibuprofen. Now where the sun is kind of behind me, so I can't take ibuprofen, Tylenol, anything like that. I'm allergic to it. It causes me to stop up instantly, which kind of sucks. But I guess it's maybe God's way of saying, well, you don't really need that because I have provided something for you. So a feverfew is like Nature's natural ibuprofen. So you can tincture it, which is what I have inside that I bought somewhere. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. My feverfew was not very big at that time. So I'm really excited to have this that's flowering and that it'll just kind of, you know, reseed itself. I love it. Got some more Spilanthes. They're just kind of everywhere. Like right here, you can see that they were over here last year and I just spread the seed everywhere. I have some more oregano over here. It's got the flowers on top of it. I've got some, this is the other lemon balm. So this one's pretty good size. And then I do have some stevia in here, which is a first one this year. So I'm kind of excited about this one. It should be interesting. I have some rosemary back here that I probably need to go ahead and propagate, get some more started, and that way I don't have to buy that plant again. But Spilanthes, of course, everywhere. And there's some weeds that made it through all the craziness, but my little fountain. I had to put some rocks in here. I was kind of afraid. It's supposed to be down in there. I was kind of afraid. Well, that didn't really, work. The rocks were meant for like bees and such so they could land, get a drink of water, but they should be able to land on the outside. If we head over here, I do have a plant. I'm really disappointed in this plant. I'm not really sure what happened other than a vine borer. So I planted this squash of some sort. It's vining, so I'm thinking it's probably a pumpkin or something, or a spaghetti squash. And it was beautiful, looking really great. There was no squash bugs on it. Then I come out one time and it looks horrible. So I guess maybe the vine borers got it. I'm not really sure. I do have lots of rose hips that I'll be able to pick. I really need to prune these roses. So I'll show you what I was talking about where I just started random seeds. So these two, I just started random seeds. This is what was over there, and not really sure what it is. I have so many hibiscus. I really want to take these. I want to make some hibiscus tea. I think that'll be so cool. So this is where the borage was as well. Now there's other things in here that I'm not sure. This I'm pretty sure is burdock, and but there's other things in here that I don't know what they are. I've got to look at the seed packets. Comfrey, everywhere. You'll see. I've got comfrey like corner over here, and it's nuts. Okay. Another really disappointing one is this one right here. Look at this. Look at this plant. I don't remember if it was in my last garden tour, but it was gorgeous. Like, I was so excited because these are pumpkins, and they were doing so well. I've been keeping the squash bugs off of them. I'm sure it's got it on it now, but I was keeping them off. It was doing really well. So I'm thinking vine borer, because I come out one day, it's gorgeous one day, and I come out the next and it's wilted and looks like this. So I don't know. I think I'm going to have to put all of my squash in a specific area, like a farm I went to just recently, and I'm going to have to net it with a very fine net, and just when I plant it, they net it. They have the watering system underneath there, and they leave it. They do not mess with it again until they harvest, because they have weed fabric down. So I'm just going to have to do something like that, I think, because I'm really struggling with squash and all that stuff. Okay, so you guys, this is like jungle in here. You know, I redid the garden. If you didn't, you need to go watch that, because that was hilarious. That I ran the tractor and moved all these beds that were in the middle, and now they're on the outside. It's just, yeah. So it's kind of crazy. I'm still trying to figure out where I want to put everything, but let me show you. When we say jungle, this is like all volunteer tomatoes. All of this right here. All. It's like tomato jungle. I have a volunteer watermelon over there. I mean, like, I don't even know. Wild violets that I planted over here that, you know, I was like, oh, those will make such a cute border. Yeah, okay. They're like coming out like 3 or 4 feet. I've got yarrow that I pulled out of the yard that's doing really well. Of course, comfrey. I'm telling you, if you plant comfrey, plant it somewhere that you want it, because you're going to have it forever, and it just keeps going. I've even got horseradish in there. It's just, oh, comfrey. I tell you what, I need to just give it to everybody, because I have so much of it. I'm not even kidding. You'll see in just a minute I have more. But just everywhere. Everywhere. Like, all of these are volunteer. All of these tomatoes are volunteer tomatoes. I need to probably move some of my citrus. I did move them out to the garden this year, so we'll see how they do. But just like everywhere, I can't even keep up. I was going to try to trim all these, prune all these. Yeah, I don't even know where they go. Like, I don't even know what plant they go to. So I'm just leaving them, and we're just going to go with it, because look at that. See, I have tomatoes. Now, the chickens don't appreciate this because they're in there. I am not letting them out right now, because what will they do? Eat every one of these. So I'm pretty excited, though. Look at this. I got some tomatoes finally coming on. It's taken a while. My garden has been kind of in a late stage. The other thing is, I love all these volunteer plants, because I have this little watermelon, which was tiny not too long ago. And I also have these in here. I've got 2 in here. I've got another little one here. I have another one somewhere, I think. But just, I mean, look, like, it's totally knocked over the cage. I didn't see that. I guess I should fix that. I've got potatoes everywhere, like, not in the bed. I was kind of disappointed with the potatoes this year. Oh, okay, we're going to have to figure out something with that. But that'll stay for now. I think I had it staked. So I pulled potatoes out of this bed. It looks like I missed a couple. I was kind of disappointed in this bed. It did not do as well as what I liked. This one was okay, but again, didn't do as well as I liked. I need to weed it. I did get some peppers in here that I purchased, because mine just did not do well this year. I've got a volunteer tomato plant coming up. I mean, like, it's just crazy. Okay, let's go backwards then. Since we're over here, please pay no attention. I got weeds. Like, I have a tarp in here from the old tarp from the pool, and I've been tossing weeds. You can see, like, these are literally not even in the ground. And they're, you know, so I've been tossing weeds over here. I don't know why, I just was. I guess so it's easier just to pick up, but dill. Another plant that I have in abundance is dill. I do have some cannellini beans over there, which I've never grown before. So I let them go to seed because, you know, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get the seeds and use them as beans, but I don't think they were in a good spot or something. They didn't get enough sun. They didn't grow very large, so those did not do so well. Kale hidden in here. I've got to get some of that. The chickens were eating that when they were out. So cucumbers, like, they were so tiny, and now they're like going everywhere. So I do have to come out here and check these, see if I do have some cucumbers, because you'd think I'd have a lot, but I didn't yesterday. And then, of course, some more tomatoes. Now, I will say that I will probably never plant. Let me find the ones that, well, I'll never have to plant them because I'm going to have them forever, I'm pretty sure. But they are these tiny little vines. So they break off super easy, but they are so, if there was a variety of tomatoes that was invasive, it would be these. These are spoon tomatoes. I did not plant any of these. Actually, I didn't plant any of these tomatoes, I don't believe. They were all volunteer. I pulled them out of the garden and I moved them around, which has worked out really well for me. They did really well. So I'm thinking I should just plant the tomatoes and put the seeds out, and they'll come up when they want to come up, and they'll do really well. So spoon tomatoes I got from Baker Creek, I think is a free seed. Not really sure. But they are about the size of a blueberry. They really do not get much bigger. So like right here, these tiny, can you see those? These tiny little blueberry tomatoes. So they turn and they ripen fairly decently fast, and you can't find them all and you can't get them all. And so they drop, and you have all these plants coming up. Now you can usually tell which ones they are because they do have sort of a purple tint. Let me see if I can show you. I don't know if you can tell, but it's just kind of weird. They have like a purplish tint, and they feel different. Like, I don't know. A regular tomato vine is kind of hairy, kind of has like that, or a regular, and other types of tomatoes. These, okay, never mind. That's actually the same plant. Maybe it's just because these are smaller vines, but here's some right here. So if you look right here, I mean, that's how big they are. They're tiny. Now my husband likes them because he says they're sweet, so they probably are, but picking these, like, that's just nuts. And it looks like I need to because they're splitting. So I need to get those picked, but yeah, there's already some down there. I can see them. All right, let's go right back here to these squash plants or whatever these are, because these all did not get labeled correctly, or I lost the label something. So I'm trying something different with these, which doesn't seem to be working because those are molding. So I'm not really sure oh, these are working. So that's good. So somebody said you can actually stake these and they'll grow up like this. So this is actually working out pretty well for this one. I kind of like that. So we'll see how this works. This one, not so much. I'm wondering if maybe it just doesn't get enough sun, because I didn't know what these were. So it's just kind of compact in here. I've got some Romas. I've just got different varieties of tomatoes that I had out here before, and that's what's coming up. So it's just kind of crazy. This one I got one squash off of, and that's it. So this one doesn't seem to be doing as well. I have been pulling squash bugs off of them. I've gotten a little braver. Now I just squish them with the leaf. The littler ones. The big ones, you can't do that. I stick them in soapy water. So that works. Seems to work for that. I do have some dahlias back here, which I guess you're supposed to stake because they look really heavy and now they're falling over. So maybe I should stake those. I have some beds though, like this bed. This is a 3x3 bed. Lots of weeds because I actually did not put anything in there because it doesn't have dirt. But guess what that is? Comfrey. And this bed, I just set here so I would know that I was going to put one there because it has like all the other parts to the old beds. And also some mint of some sort that came up, which was not over here. So that had to have been whenever I changed and moved the garden. Okay, so more comfrey. Again, I don't really remember planting this here. So that one came up. This is another bed in here. I'm telling you, weeds are plenty. That's why I love this tarp. Otherwise, this will be a really bad problem. So this is another bed that's not finished. Doesn't have enough dirt in it, but it has some volunteer tomato plants in it. And I did put a bunch of, when we mowed the yard, it's like 2 weeks, and we had some grass, some hay in the yard. So I brought it in here to kind of keep down the weeds, but I do have grass kind of growing up through it. This one here needs to be staked, I guess, better, because it is kind of getting, oh, maybe I shouldn't touch that. Getting heavy with the tomato plants on it. I don't really see a whole lot of tomatoes, but so here we are over here. Let's squash that one. And again, like I didn't know what these were until they started blooming, and I'm gonna have to get out here later after I come back from running my errands. But I do have a spaghetti squash plant back here. Let's see if you can see that. Can you see that? See that little, well, let me pull some of the weeds out of the way. Spaghetti squash. So one of these plants is a spaghetti squash. I have tomatoes back here. I have some cucumbers in here that were planted before the tomato, and now they're coming up. I'm telling you, it's kind of crazy back here. I do have a nasturtium down here, which I really need to move it because it's not getting the sun because of all this. And dill. I have dill in abundance. I don't even know. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy. So this net, I think I just need to take it down because the chickens are not actually out in the garden right now. I'm making them stay up because they'll come out here and eat all my stuff. But I do have green beans in here. I have been picking off of, I think I might have 5 plants in there, which is not a whole lot. But I have been picking some off of them. And I have tomato plants, like, just coming up everywhere. Dill coming up everywhere. I'm pretty sure that's burdock coming up back there. Again, I'm not even sure where the burdock, why it's even in here. Because I don't remember planting it. I mean, I don't even know. Maybe in one spot. So I must have really split a root up or something. I don't know. Because, like, it's just coming up everywhere. Dill, of course, there's a weed back there. But tomatoes, just everywhere. I did plant the kale, and I have been harvesting off of that. And then I did have these come up. Now, they don't look really great because I just planted them in here. But they were this long already. They were in a pot. They came up in the greenhouse, and I finally got them moved, and that's what they look like. And I do have a couple more, though, that look much better than that because they actually came up where they're planted. Horseradish. You remember? I was going to move this. Yeah, that does not work. If you have any sliver of the root in the ground, it comes back. So horseradish will probably always be here. I'm just going to have to figure out how to tame it a little bit. I did have some marigolds finally come up, and I've got some potatoes that came up back here. I have cucumbers over here as well, and some weedy stuff. I do need to think about planting some stuff for the fall. Got some cabbage back there that finally did come up, but may just be as like a trappish or whatever. I don't know. Okay, here we go. This is one of those plants I was telling you about. This is a spoon tomato. You see how it's got like the purple? Yeah, that's it. I'm going to pull that out because I do not want that growing over here too. All right, so these are more squashes that I do not know what they are until they bloom. So they're looking okay. I am going to come back, and I think this might be a round zucchini. I think because of the leaves, because I had another one and I got one off of it, and then the squash bugs got it or something got it and it died. Oh, looky there. I'm going to have to get my water stuff and get these out of here. I don't know that I can get that one. That I even want to pick that up with my hands. Well, I guess, yeah. We got him in a leaf. I'm getting better. But, yeah, like more. There's more tomatoes. Okay, so, well, okay, this is the really weedy. This is never this weedy. This is the asparagus bed. And it's never this weedy because it was a bed. Now it's not, so it's really, I gotta work on this. This may get moved because this is really in the way, and I don't know that I want to keep that there. But if you'll look over here, comfrey. coming up all over here. And it continues around here to the corner where the main plant was. That's where it actually was before. And I'm pretty sure that's amaranth right there that I planted last year. And it's come up volunteer. My little avocado tree, which I was going to replant, but I think the pot I got is actually the same size. So I need to go get another one that is a couple inches bigger than this. So I don't even remember. Pour that out anyways. I think this is... All right, let's look. 12-inch pot. Looks like a 12-inch pot. I don't think they make 14s. I was looking. So it'll probably be a 16-inch pot. I need to think about that and get that today. Or, you know what? Actually, now that I'm looking, this pot looks like it might work. So I could use it because this is a grape, which is not going to be in here. And it really needs to go somewhere. I really have to figure out what I'm doing out here. Because I was going to put these in like an arbor out here. Of course, that arbor's not ready. But I could put something out here. Here it is from the another angle. Yeah, so I was right over there. So this is asparagus bed. You can see the asparagus. And of course, you can see this is a raspberry plant. This is another of my citrus. I think that's my orange. And yeah, comfrey. Like this was where the main plant was, and I've actually cut this down. So I need to do some more cutting, harvesting, I guess. I don't really know, or feed it to the chickens, something, because it's crazy. I don't always take you out here where you've got the elderberries that are coming up. These things, I tell you what, they came up wonderful. I am so thrilled with these. I'm probably gonna have to move them, possibly, but I am really thrilled with them. The reason I brought you out here, like this bed was not supposed, it was supposed to be strawberries as well, but I had blackberries in it. I don't know what I was thinking. Did not get rid of the blackberries because obviously they've came back up. So I'm gonna have to do something out here because obviously that's probably gonna be blackberries. But this is one of my Rugoso roses, which I did not know, but they almost do what the blackberries do. They are putting runners and they are coming up everywhere. So I've either got to replant and move some somewhere, sell them, or get rid of them because I think they're going to try to take over. So this has definitely got to be pruned. But what I'm most excited about these is, look at these rose hips. Are those not gorgeous? I don't remember having these before, and I've really got to pay attention because other animals, I'm pretty sure, will eat them. So that one is doing really well. This one, on the other hand, I think is the white one, and it is not doing as well. I have let me show you. So you've got this plant over here, this plant here. This is the bed, the middle of the bed, and I have a plant of Rugoso right here coming up. So it has had to have put out a runner coming up, just like the blackberries do. So I don't know. Green babies and I had fun doing this. We did this because it looked horrible. The weeds were like really high, like 2 or 3 feet high. And you can kind of tell like some of the older strawberries are in here. They were already in here. I had to move some of them. But then I had new ones that I got for 75 cents each at Menards, which is a place I'm going to stop by today. And so we planted these in here. And then I had some oregano I got on clearance as well. So I just put it in here because I have oregano up by the house. So we had 1 strawberry off of this. It was not completely red. But when a 3-year-old wants to check the strawberries and wants to know what it tastes like, it was mostly ripe, mostly red. So I took it in, washed it off, cut it in half, and fed it to him and his little brother. And obviously it was super good. So he was really excited. Wanted more, but we don't have more right now. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on this and keep this up. I do have actually strawberries underneath this blueberry plant, but I think something gets to them. I don't pay enough attention to those. So, but the figs, let me show you the figs. Figs actually die back every year. I was really worried the first year. I thought they actually died. This is a cold hardy fig, so I should be able to grow it. And look at this. I have so many figs coming out on it this year. I actually got one and was able to eat it last year because it was ripe, and they're really good. And I am so excited. But you can see like there's a stalk here and there. That's what came up last year. And so I've got a lot more coming up this year. And so I don't know what I'm supposed to do, because this will die off whenever we hit winter. And I don't know if if I cut stuff out and just keep it marked so it'll come back up. But this one does really well. This one is a smaller one, and I'm pretty sure the other one is the Chicago Hardy fig. I need to really check that, but this one is, it does have some figs on it, but it does not come up as fast or get as big as the other one. So I don't know if maybe the other one was, an older plant whenever I got it. I'm not really sure. I did have to tarp the inside of the caterpillar tunnel because I was tired of mowing it, and I can't seem to get anything in it because I just seem to run out of time. So this has just kind of been the chicken area. We've got I raised some, chickens, just 12 chickens out of eggs that we had. You can see I just got some, the grass is actually not bad in here because of the chickens. They've kind of cleaned out around all the trees and everything. But we had 12, now we have 5. So I was keeping them in this and moving them around in the orchard. Every day I'd move them, give them new water, give them food if they needed food, and they would eat the grass, and then we just move them. And so they got bigger, and 12 chickens in there. Probably needs to be moved more than once a day. So I decided to put up my fence, which I do not electrify because I didn't buy that. I have one, I haven't tried it. Maybe it's actually chewed a hole in part of this when it was in something, trying to get to something, which, yeah. That's a whole nother story. So they were in here, and I would move this and give them new grass and everything. So I came out the other day and gave them water and everything, and they were all here. And then the next day I come out, and it was on a Friday, and or a Wednesday actually, and I come out, and they're like hardly there. And I thought they were inside eating or something. No, something came and stole 7 chickens, took them. There's like one set of little feathers. I don't know where the other ones are. I have 5. We're butchering tomorrow. And you know how you have that feeling? Like last week I had this feeling. I'm like, it was such a nice day. We ended up we weren't doing something specific, like plans changed. And I was like, we should have butchered these chickens. Yeah, we should have, because I would have had 12. And then, yeah, now we have 5. So we're going to do these whole, we were going to try skinning them and kind of parting them out, but I don't think we're going to do that because I need all the meat, I need everything from these to even get close to, what it's cost to raise these, because I did buy organic starter feed and for the 12 chickens. So I don't know, lesson learned, figure out something else. I'm gonna have to build a different type of mobile coop or something that will hold them. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But anyways, so they are probably not enjoying this because this is the last day they're in here though, because tomorrow will be butchering day. I was so aggravated. But what do you do? I mean, so I don't know what it was. It was probably a fox. We've had issues with a fox. We're out in the middle of nowhere, and we've had foxes before, and so that's probably what it was. But we are getting ready to do this tree. Russ's tree is coming down. All this is getting cleaned up because it's right by the chicken coop, runs into the chicken run. And I'm just thinking that anything could hang out in here and just get in there and, pick off a chicken or two. So that is a project. We've got lots, seems like. Oh yeah, check out this spearmint, actually I'm not really sure what it is. And now that I'm looking, I've got cucumbers coming over. This is peppermint everywhere. It's never been this big, but it's going. Oh, these are the loofahs. These look much better than those other ones because these actually grew right there in the ground, and now, so they've got lots of good nutrients. This is where they grew last year and they did really well. So I'm just going to keep an eye on them. The squash bugs and stuff don't seem to bother them, which is really nice. And you can actually eat them when they're small. So we may try that this year because I can't seem to grow any other squash hardly. So I don't know. We'll see. So I think that's all. I think that's it. Other than just, stuff is coming out of the garden. It seems like trying to make its way out into the yard. A lot of these flowers are volunteer or things that I bought on clearance that are coming back up. I've even got still elderberries in there that I've got to get out. The thyme. Look at the thyme. It's so pretty when it blooms. Lots of weeds, lots of kind of chaos here right now, but that's okay. It's not bad. just lots to do and to try to keep track of, I guess. But I hope you enjoyed this garden tour. It's kind of all over the place today, but that's okay. So be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to be lovely lights today.